Hi guys, it's Phoebe from Who's Phoebe, and today I'm reviewing Doctor Who The Gunfighters. Now, I might be in my pyjamas, but that's because I'm filming this very early in the morning, so I know I'm going to forget to film it later on in the day, so just wanted to get it over with really. I've just watched this, and my opinions of it are mixed with this. It's a 4-part serialised story spread across each week, and if you've never seen my face on your screens before, please click the red subscribe button down below, and also click the notifications bell to get notifications every single time I upload. Appreciate it. So I'm going to start with the positives. Now, what is it with Doctor Who and the Wild West? This is the one thing that not many showrunners in Doctor Who history have been able to master, apart from Stephen Moffat. Stephen Moffat, yes, he's been able to master the Wild West with a mix of other things as well. He's been able to master it to perfection, may I say. This reminds me a little bit too much of A Town Called Mercy from the 11th Doctor story in Series 7. So it's why. Also, the Wild West accents, what the actual hell? The Wild West accents, what the hell? I never understood. Now, Stephen Moffat managed to get the ratio between cowboys and the Wild West just right. This, for me, didn't work. Not for me in the Gunfighters anyway. It was lacking in imagination, and because obviously back then Doctor Who was meant to be a kids show, what the hell was with all the guns and the shooting and the killing? Like, that wasn't the episode, the story I've just watched. That wasn't appropriate for children. It might be appropriate for children now as they've got older, but it's not appropriate for like an audience you're trying to target, BBC. So maybe not the best, or at least I don't think it's the best. So yeah, maybe not the best way to come across with a Wild West story. I mean, Stephen Moffat managed to juggle Wild West with a little bit of guns, but not actually shooting any guns, like not actually injuring anyone. But what the actual hell? Please, I beg of you. Hopefully one day the Gunfighters will be one of those stories that the Doctor Who go back and modernise it a bit to make it a little bit more kid friendly. Also, the Wild West accents, they didn't sound robust at all. It was just a bunch of actors trying to do their best to do a Wild West accent, which is literally just makes the episode even worse in comparison. Also, I also have a slight problem with it. A dentist, a Wild West dentist, why? Why the hell? Now on to the positives. The positive of this if this story has anything, is probably the setting. The setting was okay. The setting was never like overdone. It was always switched between different Wild West hotels and rooms and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't have a problem with the setting or the story. What I did have a problem with was the fact that no one dared to try and put on a better Wild West thing, and the Doctor and Stephen had a gun and it was all a bit complicated. Apart from that, the story moves really well. Now, I understand back in the days of classic Doctor Who, you couldn't really have a monster for every single serialised story because that would have been ages. That would have taken a long time back in the William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton eras. Like, you couldn't have a monster every week for every single serialised story because that would have been too long. So I understand why some stories back in the day were a little bit like, we're not going to put a monster in this week, we're just going to take a nice educational slow story for kids to enjoy this week, which kind of got me. Because I like my Doctor Who a little bit more action packed, a little bit more monster friendly, a little bit more monster. There was nothing in this story that was memorable about it. I mean, the only thing I could say that's memorable about this particular story is probably the Wild West setting and everything in it. That was very Wild West themed. But apart from that, it wasn't really memorable. The characters wasn't memorable. The only characters that are really memorable was the Doctor, Dodo and Stephen. On that note, I did find Stephen annoying in this particular episode. I don't know why, I just found him particularly annoying in this particular serialised story, I guess. Don't ask me why, I generally do not know why. So yeah, that's what I found annoying, is that a lot of the characters weren't memorable. You basically just had, the only action part of this story was the gunfighting. Like, I would never normally say that in a serialized story. Like, I've never said the only fun part I enjoyed was the guns. I don't like guns and I don't like weapons in general, but that was the only thing for me that kind of brings this story to a rating that I find appropriate for this kind of story. Also, I did like the horses, and the Wild West songs got to my head a bit. They were a little bit like, what the hell kind of thing. So the Wild West songs were definitely the thing I found annoying, because after you kind of hear one, you hear another and it's like, really? So the Wild West songs were doing my head in a bit, like playing throughout the story, and I don't know why. But Stephen Moffat never did that in a little town called Mercy. He never did that. He managed to juggle the Wild West with the sci-fi theme. He managed to juggle cowboys with Doctor Who really nicely. This one didn't really fit that. This one, however, the Gunfighters, I didn't really feel like that was necessary, because I didn't really like how the Gunfighters were, really. I didn't really like how it was placed, and it wasn't juggled between sci-fi and cowboys. Cowboys and sci-fi is a completely different thing. Wild West and sci-fi are completely two different things, and I think if they're not juggled perfectly, if they're not juggled into a really long-running sci-fi TV show, into like a sci-fi TV show, then I don't think it's going to work very well. And that's one thing Stephen Moffat did right. He managed to juggle sci-fi and cowboys in quite nicely with a Doctor Who element. This didn't feel like that. To me, this didn't feel like that. This was just a Doctor Who serialised story that I felt didn't really juggle the Wild West theme with the Doctor Who story, because I feel like Wild West and Doctor Who need to be balanced evenly to make it a good story to tell. Although I do like the fact that it was Wild West themed though, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying the story was a bit dull. There was no remaining plot and there was no monsters involved at all, which is annoying. And the fact that Dodo got locked up in her own hotel room is a bit like, what the hell? And the fact that the Doctor companions get separated again is kind of like, what? I like companion separation stories if they work right, and I don't think this one particularly works right, because it's like you have Stephen in the cell next to the Doctor when he's captured, and then you have Dodo in her hotel room, locked in her hotel room. So you see, that's the problem there. And also, I don't think this is Warren William Hartnell's best episodes as the Doctor, personally, in my opinion. I thought all the acting in this particular serialised story was a little bit wooden, and I'm giving you guys my honest opinion here as a Doctor Who person. As a Doctor Who fan, I'm giving you my honest opinion. So yeah, I don't know, I just thought the story was a little bit off in places and it didn't really work with the sci-fi genre. Cowboys is a genre that you need to really juggle well, and I don't think the Gunfighters, written by Donald Cotton, I don't think, no offence to him, but I don't think he juggled this cowboys and sci-fi very well. Like, I don't think he juggled it, okay? Literally, I'll read you the description. Tombstone, Arizona, 1881. The air is filled with sound of shooting, crushing and toe-tapping, tunnels knocking on the battered piano at the Last Chance Saloon, and there is something less familiar and wheezing, groaning sound of a police box materialising. The Doctor and his companions aren't the only newcomers in the town. The Clayton brothers have riddled in the settlement grunge with Doc Holliday, the notorious gambler, drinker and dentist in the Wild West. Temperatures are shot, guns are swifting, and a moment hesitation on the dawn can mean death. So yeah, that doesn't exactly give me very good confidence about the story. That to me doesn't give me very good confidence about the story, and it just was a little bit over the place. So time for the ratings. Now, I'm going to give this, and I'm going to be fair when I give this rating, a 3 out of 10. I'm sorry, but that is the rating I'm giving it. It's a fair rating, and when I watched this I was deciding between a 5 and a 3, but then I thought 5's a little bit too high, 3 is just perfect. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this story. I mean, if you guys want to watch it then you can, but quite frankly, if you're not a fan of it either, I've suffered through this story so you don't have to. So yeah, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure you click that subscribe button down below. And also click the notifications bell to get notifications every single time I upload. And this is my 219th video on my YouTube channel. So excellent, and I'm back to doing reviews now. I'm doing companion files in between as well, so you might get like a couple of weeks where I do companion files and then a couple of weeks when I do reviews. It's kind of like I'm trying to mix it up a bit, so I'm not doing reviews all the time because they do get boring to have to watch them and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to mix it up a bit. So yeah, please give this video a thumbs up, and please click the subscribe button down below if you've never seen my face before, because I appreciate all the support. Have a wibbly wobbly, timey wimey day. And in words of the first Doctor, I shall come back one day.